Got my favorite tea, raspberry hibiscus, and I thought I'd have you guys join me today. I've got a piece of art I made in my art journal that's super important to me, along with a poem that goes with it. So I thought I'd share a little bit of that. But before we get started, where I am, it is winter, it's cold, Midwest in Iowa, and I'm extra chilly in my art studio. My art studio faces north winds, and it's a beautiful day out, but a little chilly just for me. I like the fall, and the summer gets super hot here. But anyway, so I have some tea. This is my favorite mug. My best friend and her daughter bought this for me for my birthday a few years back. It says on the inside, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. And that's by Buddha, so I love that. And I'm drinking raspberry hibiscus tea, which is my favorite. I try to test out other teas, but this ends up being my favorite. So a little bit of that to warm us up today. And I thought I would share a little bit in my art journal. One of my entries that's super important to me in this journal, along with a poem that I created for it. So I'm going to share the piece, and it was actually created a while back, several months ago, and it's called Follow the Hummingbird. And hummingbirds are super sentimental to me. They represent my dad. They also represent positive attitude and a good outlook on life, and they just are a guiding light to me. So I had created this piece, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's got the hummingbird. These are actually rose petals and some writing along with it. These are leaves made out of an old map. I bought some ephemera from a vintage junk fair, and just used some watercolor and gouache underneath it. And there's also some hidden messages underneath as well that you can't necessarily see, but it's really all about how the hummingbird guides me, and all the lessons that I've learned through pain, through struggle. I continue to just listen to the hummingbird and follow its guidance and follow its steps, and the little breadcrumbs that I see spirit leave me, and the hummingbird is one of those guides. Now, after I made this, I kind of put it to the side for a while and wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, if I was going to make any surface pattern designs from it. And then I realized I needed to dedicate this to a very close friend of mine who had passed away. She was like a second mother to me, and she would always send me hummingbirds. And when she had passed away, about two text messages before our second to last communication, she texted me, and I was going to see her the next day, and she texted me 3 hummingbirds that she had found at her sister's house in different areas. And I thought it was just very, very appropriate that I dedicate this to her. So here's the poem that I made along with the image. Again, I thought of the poetry after she had passed away, after I had even made this, but it seemed right to dedicate this to her. So here's the poem that goes along with the journal entry. It's called Follow the Hummingbird, my tribute to Mary. Steady in the boat, she told me every time. I came for peace and comfort, a request she would never decline. The first person I reach out to, always steady, always strong. With her, there was no doubt I would belong. My work mom, my second mom, I would tell her and she knew. A light in my life, my earth angel, it was true. Hummingbirds she would send in every which way she could. She knew they meant the world to me, my symbol for all that is good. Thoughtful, caring, loving, supportive, she embodied them all. When I needed them most, it was her I would call. For 16 years, we would laugh, we would cry. We played Morse code through our shared brick wall, we would try. To my days, she brought joy, full of life, full of fun. Her positive vibes were bar none. Our second to last communication, 3 hummingbirds she sent to me. She's with the angels now. One of them she will always be. She's in my heart, That's where she'll stay. I wonder if she'll still send me hummingbirds. It's my wish, forever I will say. I still get choked up just thinking about her and reading that. She passed away in October of last year, 2025. So when I decided to make this piece dedicated to her, I just realized everything that she embodied was in this piece of work for me. These leaves that are made out of maps, you know, are a symbol for my guide, and I considered her my guide for sure. So what I'd like to do is take you through a little bit of my process from going from art journaling to surface pattern design. So originally I wasn't going to use this entry to create any surface pattern designs, but it just kept gnawing at me that I feel like I could be really inspired and inspire other people with the meaning behind some of the imagery that I'm creating through that journal entry, and how it's significant and means a lot to me with Mary, who passed away. So I'll take you through on my iPad some of the designs that I've come up with that go along with this project. So this is the app Procreate, and this is how I've been creating my collections, and my art journaling has been a source of inspiration for my collections. So in Follow the Hummingbird, that journal entry, I've got several designs that go with this to create a collection. And so I started off with the 3 hummingbirds that are part of this design. So there's only one in the art journal entry, but I decided, because it's called 3 hummingbirds, Follow the Hummingbird, to expand on that. So originally I just had some ideas to make these hummingbirds, 3 of them, and then have some of the leaves that were made out of the maps, and then some of the rose petals. Rose petals are very significant for me. I use those as courage and strength, symbols for courage and strength. And so you'll see them kind of replicated in my work in various ways. So I just found 3 hummingbirds that I thought were super cute. I use, sometimes use pictures that I take, and other times I use images from free websites. And then I also made some other variations. One that I really like is in the background, kind of creating a background that is a little more intense, like with designs. Actually was unsure. I thought maybe it was too busy, and it might be, but I went to actually Home Goods and saw a painting of a peacock behind a very busy background, white stenciled floral background, and then a pink background behind that. And I thought, well, that's maybe my inspiration to just my permission to go ahead. And I just really just needed my own permission. But some of these hummingbirds the hummingbirds, I really like this hummingbird. I actually added some abstract calligraphy. So this is the poem that I read from Follow the Hummingbird, the poem that I created, and I turned it into abstract calligraphy, where I'm writing out the poem, but you can't tell what the words are, basically. It's called asemic, and asemic writing, asemic calligraphy is a cross between imagery and words. So you might be thinking, oh, it's some sort of cursive, and it is, but you can't read it. Only I know, obviously I'm telling you, but only I know what it really says. On the leaves, I decided to include things that like spiritual words. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in spirit as our guide. Spirit Street, and these are supposed to be, maps cut out from a map. Leaves cut out from a map. Intuition Road, Self-Worth Street. I like this one, Manifest Highway. So, just having fun with those ideas of those spiritual vocabulary, spiritual language. And so I love this like overlay of design and meaning. How I created that background This was using a calligraphy pen, and then using I was literally looking at a plant in my art studio. This is the plant I was looking at. And I thought, well, let's do a little bit of abstract calligraphy for the background. I love plants, and I love flowers and animals, obviously. So I created a little abstract design for the background. Something else I wanted to show you, the rose petals. So the rose petals I turned into all different kinds of background colors. Some were I even made like purple tipped shadows on those. And yeah, you can kind of see like the overlapping, but I actually use real roses. I actually buy them from Trader Joe's and let them hang out in my fish vase in my kitchen. And then I start peeling them when they're dry, save them and collect them in this little jar, this little container. And I use them in my art journaling and then in my surface pattern designs. And again, these represent strength and courage for me. Oh, one of my bread's in the way there. And then let's see, I wanted to show you just like the hummingbirds themselves. I'll do an illustration and let's do in some different backgrounds, some different colors with different backgrounds. And I'll try to get really intricate with the designs. And I use watercolor brushes, Procreate brushes. So I turn those into a surface pattern design, and so they can be a repeat pattern. And I just wanted to show you the leaves, the map leaves. I'll turn them into different colorways. And here's like an original pattern. And again, they have the spiritual vocabulary: prosperity, parkway, mindset, mile. I just had really some fun just coming up with some fun spiritual vocabulary for these. So again, here's some just without the leaves as well. I really like this design too. I could go on and on forever creating all the surface pattern designs. This is one of my favorites, I think, minus the rose petals and the leaves. But anyway, that is just a little showcase of how I created those surface pattern designs from my art journal. And I'll show you the art journal again. So the art journal, actually added a little key to it. So you can see that little key. I'm a huge fan of Unexpected Gypsy on YouTube, and she like created these little threads that go around her notebooks and little strings. And I thought I'd attach a key. But it says, release what is bottled up inside, feed the flames, be who you were created to be, and you will set the world on fire. And something a mantra sometimes I used to say when I was stressed out, and I would just say, I am, and I am that I am. This is a little bottle that my mom used to be an antique collector, and I'll show you the little bottle that inspired it. And I since have taken a lot of her little antiques and used them for myself. But this is the little bottle, little glass antique pieces that I've just been kind of keeping for myself, which she doesn't seem to mind. But here you can see those rose petals, and these sort of lost color. I used Mod Podge to put them down, and medium as well, a golden matte medium, and just a hummingbird that I found online that was a free image. And so I cut that out and used Posca markers and some other acrylic markers. You can kind of see those leaves have the map still showing through. I actually really want to get more maps so I can create more with those, because I feel like those are pretty significant as well, or can be. They can be used in a lot of ways for artwork. I think next time too, I'd love to get into some of my supplies. I've been dying to get back into my journals and adding some of that abstract calligraphy, using some of my marbleized pages that I've created. I made those last weekend, and just kind of dive in and have you join me in creating see where it takes us. I never really have an idea of where I'm going to start. I might start with just one simple little image, but sometimes I don't at all and just make the page go from a blank page to whatever shows up. I work very intuitively that way. So I'm excited for you to join me on this adventure, this little art journey online. Thanks for joining.